Hey folks, how you doing? I'm talking about the coming forth of Atum. Now Atum we see as a child god, and he enters the underworld. Okay, but here in this underworld, there are demons and everything trying to attack him, trying to slow his progress. And he's a little child. Let's say between the ages of 1 and 7. Okay, and so Atum struggles through the underworld, but then there's a little light there for him to help him see his way, you know. And this light is shown by the goddess Neckbet, okay? Because she carries a light in her talon, her claw. She carries a light. It sort of shows the way in the underworld. So little Atum gets a little light here, a little help, so he can get past these demons, because they hiding in the corners and around this corner and over here, you know, setting traps for him to fall into, you know what I mean? So he needs to see a little here. It keeps the way a little clear for him, okay? But we see a little Atum, he keeps coming, he keeps traveling, he get battered up and beat up a little bit, you know what I mean? But finally, little Atum rises up out of the underworld, you see. We see this as maybe sunrise, coming out of darkness. He's coming out of darkness. He had a hard time, okay? But what we're representing here, for one thing, is a couple ways to explain these things. But he's coming from difficulty, okay? So we're talking about a ritual. Okay, so when a person has his own difficulties, you know what I mean, he can imagine, see that difficulty, imagine that difficulty as a little Atum, you see. But you see little Atum going through all his ups and downs, etc. But finally, you see little Atum rising up out of the underworld, and up out of the difficulty, you see. This is how our ancestors sort of did it. It might not make much sense to us today, but if you use, okay, your imagination, etc., you know what I mean, what we find in these scriptures, whatever religion you belong to, they'll tell you the same thing in one way or another, you know, but this is how you do it. This is how people can overcome problems, you see. Using the imagination, coming forth. You use the characters in the mythology or the religion or whatever, you know what I mean? If you're a Christian, you would see Jesus coming up out of, resurrecting, leaving behind the land of difficulty or his problems, okay? And so this is how the ancient folks, you know, this is one way they did it. They used their imagination. They had an imagination. The first humans had an imagination. They just didn't have intelligence. But they did have an imagination. They did have knowledge. You know what I mean? So you don't need intelligence to do these things. All you need to do is follow the script, create your own script, whatever. See yourself coming out of difficulty, you know. But we have to talk about the symbols involved and how symbols are used to help us in these difficulties, how symbols are used to help us gain some knowledge of something that we want to know about, okay? We have to talk about signs and symbols of the ancient folks. Okay, folks, have a good one.